Big Hustle Hard promises to guide people through difficult career decisions. It's been written by the Hustle Crew Careers founder, Abadesi Osunsade. Lovely to see you. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Now, as far as I can see, the idea for this came about as you left your job. You thought, actually, that something's wrong here in the system, so I'm going to leave my job. Tell us the rest of the story.
Yeah, you know, I'd got to this point in my career where I'd worked for great tech companies like Amazon and Groupon, and then the last startup I was in, I tried so hard to make it more diverse and bring in young women candidates, and it just wasn't happening. And I was like, how can it be that as I get more senior, there are fewer women around the table? I know so many bright, talented young women, and I realized it must be that there's a disconnect going on. There are talented women that just don't really know how to break through the door and kind of join the industry, and there are so many misconceptions out there. Do I need to have to code? Do I need to be technical? The answer is no, and I'm kind of dispelling the myths with my book.
Yeah, so in a way, it's part individual, part industry, the barrier. There's people themselves think it's not for me, but also perhaps the industry isn't as open as it needs to be.
Exactly. I think we definitely need to address the fact that the male-dominated tech industry is very difficult for women and other underrepresented groups to penetrate. We have all these ideas of, Mark Zuckerberg, he's like the face of tech, but really there are so many other people who don't represent that look who also play a role and need to play a role. So yeah.
Yeah. Now you created a community where you've been mentoring and teaching people, and as a result of that, you also wrote this book. So it's taken from real life experience.
Absolutely. There are so many 20-somethings that finish university and have no idea how to get a job in tech, how to get a job in a startup. And so all the questions that people ask me, where do I look for these jobs? How do I prepare for the interview? How do I even get my application up to that point where I get an interview? All of those questions are answered in this book. Questions I get all the time on social media, in talks, career meetings.
Yeah. What does it mean to hustle hard?
The idea behind Hustle Hard was the fact that people often say women aren't that confident, and that's why they don't get paid as much as men, and that's why they don't get the jobs that men get. And the idea really was to play on that and say, you know what, women can hustle hard. Sometimes they just need to be told to or reminded to. So that's what I wanted to do. Yeah.
For you writing the book, did you kind of see any parts of yourself in there? Have you always been super confident and kind of gone out there and got what you want, or did you see parts of the advice thinking I could have learned from that when I was younger?
Absolutely. I wish I knew all the things that were in this book when I first graduated. I was so nervous. I made so many mistakes, and my hope with this book is to prevent other young women from making the same mistakes I did. I want them to earn more, I want them to learn more, so that by the time they're my age, they're leading successful companies, and they're the next Mark Zuckerbergs.
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about kind of the lack of diversity within the industry. Has it improved? Has it got better at all?
I think now that companies have to be more transparent about it, and people are waking up to the fact that it matters to them, it is getting better, but we've got such a long way to go. All these companies have the power to make their staff more representative of our population, but they're not doing it. So I would love to see more companies say, hey, our customer base looks like this, and now our employees look exactly the same too. With the rise of AI, it's so important for tech companies to be representative of the customers they're serving. If it's just one type of person building this technology, there's a threat for all of us whose interests don't align with that person.
Yeah, indeed. Really good to speak to you. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
The book is out now, that book which will help answer all those difficult career questions, certainly for those people interested in the tech industry. Now, the UK premiere of Molly's Game, starring Hackney's Idris Elba alongside the Oscar nominee Jessica Chastain, is taking place in central London this evening. The film is based on the true story of the so-called American poker princess Molly Bloom, who ran an illegal high-stakes gambling ring for the rich and famous. Sasha Spratt is there for us. Sasha.
Well, you can probably see behind me we have the green backgammon carpet as opposed to our usual red carpet. Idris Elba is here, and I've also just seen the original Molly Bloom herself. She's making her way down the green carpet now as we speak.